finally, for the first time in a month and a half, we aren't expecting the weather to be total garbage in New York City this weekend. In fact, it'll be quite warm, but when will the precipitation return, and is there a shot of cold air on the horizon? Let's get into it. Hi guys, I'm John with the New York Metro weather. Today is Wednesday, October 25th. This has been a weekly tradition for the last month and a half. Right around now, I will be talking about the rain that's coming to New York City and the eastern U.S. during the upcoming weekend, but this weekend is the first one in 7 weekends that's going to be very different than the last several. You're looking at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, about 10,000 feet up, and the colors here are showing you the anomalies. So the reds are above normal heights and the blues are below normal heights. You can look at this as the red is showing you a big ridge of high pressure that's over the eastern United States. That is what we have been missing for the last several weeks. Instead of this ridge, we've had troughing and active weather. But since the pattern has changed, we now see this ridge overhead, and that's keeping us not only dry, but it's going to get quite warm at the end of this week. If we look at the end of the week, let's check out what the models show in terms of temperature, and temperatures are way above normal. This is starting Thursday and moving ahead to Friday. The model's showing temperatures as much as 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal for this time of year, which is obviously super impressive. This continues Friday into Saturday. It cools off a bit Saturday and Sunday, but we still have very warm temperatures in place until early next week. And really, it's been a while since we've seen temperatures this far above normal. Let's look at what it actually means, and we'll back this up a little bit to look at Thursday. So Thursday is going to be the first warm day where you're going to walk outside and recognize that it's way above normal temperatures for this time of year. The high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, anywhere from the mid-Atlantic into the Northeast states, including parts of New England. We mentioned that's 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal. Even Thursday night, we're only down into the 50s and 60s, which is unusual for this time of year. And then we warm up Friday afternoon. Be feeling like a late summer day out there. Upper 70s, 80s in parts of the mid-Atlantic. Very, very warm and very, very unusual for this time of year. So instead of getting rain, instead we have a late summer kind of weather as we head into this weekend. Again, we want to look at the models and see what's causing this, and this ridge of high pressure that's overhead stays in place through Friday and parts of Saturday. But you'll notice as we head into Saturday evening and then Sunday, we have this big blue area approaching from the west, diving into the plains. And there's a reason for that. Let's back way up and look at the pattern across the hemisphere, and I'm going to show you guys the west coast. So look at what this is happening here on the west coast and into Alaska. You see this big red blob in this pink area? This ridge is extending all the way up into the high latitudes of Alaska and the Arctic, and basically acting like a roller coaster. So what happens as this ridge goes up, the air mass that's up here comes down along this side of it, and all that cold air flows all the way down and creates a storm system that eventually is going to impact our area. But before it does, we have this big ridge that's sitting over the east and keeping us warm through the weekend. So we will eventually get some air from the Arctic down into our area. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's look at precipitation expectations as we go into the weekend. So here we go Thursday into Friday, and for the first time in a while, we're not talking about a coastal storm forming this weekend. Friday looks okay. Very warm across parts of the eastern U.S. Could have a couple of scattered showers in parts of New England, but we're really not looking at anything substantial. All the rain and the frontal boundary is back here across the central United States, the Ohio Valley, back near Chicago. If we flip back and look at the east, it's quite dry Friday evening. A couple of showers again in parts of New England Saturday morning, but really there's not a lot going on here. This is a nice day on Saturday, probably some clouds to deal with, and again, maybe some spotty showers, but we don't have a coastal storm, we don't have this dreary weather, and most importantly, we really aren't looking at very heavy rainfall on Saturday at all. Now, eventually that front will get there. We mentioned that. And the first day when it seems like it might approach the Northeast United States is Sunday. The models take some rain from that front and push it up towards the region Sunday afternoon, late morning and afternoon. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Again, I'd like to stress this isn't a coastal storm. This isn't a big storm, but we could have some showers on Sunday that we'll need to watch for coming through. And that'll mark the beginning of this unsettled weather. If we go back and look at this temperature gradient that's building, it's very warm to close out the week. Here's our big warm temperature anomalies, departures from normal. But here comes this frontal boundary dropping down. Look at all this cold building in the central United States. So eventually it makes it to the east. Here comes our cold front sweeping in, dropping temperatures way below normal by the time we get to about a week from today on Wednesday and Thursday of next week, November 1st and 2nd. So this will be our first legitimate shot of cold air across the central U.S. and eventually getting into the eastern U.S. as well during the middle to latter part of next week. There probably will be some precipitation associated with it. If we look at this in 24 to 72 hour increments on the models, early next week, that frontal boundary finally gets into the area and brings rain and showers to parts of the northeast United States and probably New York City as well, right as that front swings through and brings those really cold temperatures in. But again, until then, we're okay. Friday and Saturday are finally okay. We're not going to have a washout. We're not going to have dreary weather. I've been waiting weeks to send this news to you guys, and I can finally do it. We'll watch these showers on Sunday and keep an eye on it, and then we'll track that cold front and that big drop of cold air coming by the time we get to about a week from today. That's all I got for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another video to give you the wrap up on the forecast into the weekend and get into a little more detail on Sunday. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you soon.